the Radio Forest podcast.
Hey, Dave Mustaine, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. New Megadeth out this week. How do you feel with this album coming out? Is it feeling different than all the others? I mean, this is a big deal for the band and for you.
Yeah, it feels a little different. You know, every new album always has its own excitement level and its own story to tell. So it feels a little different, but that also has to do with having assembled the dream team with our management, our marketing team, the label, our publicists and everyone, and of course you guys. We've had just the most amazing campaign.
Now, on this album, you do have a version of Ride the Lightning coming out, but I always wanted to ask you about another song with a huge credit to you is Jump in the Fire. How did that one come together? Because I've always been interested, and I heard some sort of rumor that maybe you were 16 when that one came together.
Yeah. Do you mean Ride the Lightning?
No, Ride the Lightning's on the album, but I always wanted to ask about the song Jump in the Fire.
Yeah, I wrote that song when I was in Panic, and we sang and played that in the band I was in before, Metallica.
You've had a lot of different covers on Megadeth albums, and there's two that I wanted to pick your brain on real quick. Did you ever hear back from Ozzy or Ace about your Sabbath or Kiss covers? Did you ever get any feedback?
No.
Tell me then about your version of Ride the Lightning and how that came together. Pretty easy? Did you already have it ready, or did you have to work on something?
Well, we did work on it. Of course, you know, it's a great song, and the parts that James added to the song were significant. And I think what we wanted to do was make it at least as good or better, and that wasn't an easy feat. So, plus, you know, I respect James as a guitar player tremendously, and the same with Lars as a songwriter. I think he's a great songwriter. So, I wanted to pay tribute to these guys and just, you know, do my version of Ride and do it. As good or better, you know. And so when we got to the song, I told Dirk there's drum fills at the very end where Lars is going off on some drum fills. Why don't you do whatever you want there and just blast it out? And he did. So if you listen to the end of the song, Dirk's doing a little bit more on the drum fill there. And the same thing with the solos. I told Timu, I said, you know, whatever we do, if we copy Kurt, he's just copying me anyway. So let's try and honor him as the guitar player in Metallica, but let's also make sure that the solo is what fits the song, that has electricity and excitement in it. And then, of course, there was the singing part. James and I have very unique voices, and you know, we. Our voices are very easily identifiable, but they're not at all alike. So I had to listen to James's style and learn how he sang. I ended up singing it my way anyways, because James sings a way that is very much unique to himself, and I didn't feel like I was able to sing like he does. So yeah, we worked on the vocals, we worked on the solos, and we worked on the drums, and I think we did a really good job. I don't know that it's better, but a lot of people seem to like the version that we did, and we'll find out soon enough.
In your book, you talk about how you probably were closest with James, but it's real touching in the book, the stories with you and Cliff, him picking you up for practice, listening to Leonard Skinner. And then I've seen some pictures of pretty early in Megadeth's day, and Cliff hanging out with you backstage. It seems like even in your dismissal, he wasn't a big part of that. So that relationship seemed like it was pretty close too.
Me and Cliff?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were close. I didn't know him very long. I didn't know him very well, but we were close. You know, you ride together with somebody in a car for a couple hours each day. You know, and not going to lie, we were smoking pot. It was terrible pot. It was homegrown stuff that he had, but I didn't have any money, and so I pretty much smoked whatever he had. and we would listen to music. And I think that's how you become the closest with somebody, is lowering your guard and listening to music together.
So, Dave, I don't know if you have a studio in Nashville like you did in Phoenix. How are you going to turn that faucet off of just the nonstop riffs? If a riff comes to you, say 5 years from now, where does that riff end up going then if Megadeth's done? Do you just kind of let it disappear?
I don't know. That's. Did you ever see that movie Shakespeare in Love?
Absolutely.
You remember the sign, the one guy, he kept getting questioned by the guy that wants his play, and he goes, "How does it end?" And the guy goes, "I don't know. It's a mystery." I don't know. It's a mystery. There might be a band that I produced that I help with some riffs. There might be an artist that says, we know that you can't play anymore, but would you write? And I would have to take that on a case-by-case basis. I love my band, and I don't want to even think about being without them right now.
Now, every year I get to talk to Al Pitrelli from the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and this year we were talking about what if TSO went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I kind of wanted to ask you, and I don't want to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Megadeth should or shouldn't be in there, but I wanted to ask you, let's say you're going in, how do you decide who's getting up there with you? And a bigger question, who would you want to jam with, and who would you like to see induct Megadeth into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well, I didn't know that they have somebody induct you, but getting accolades and stuff like that, they're important to a lot of people. I've always been more concerned about keeping my music real and staying steadfast and honest with our fans, because at the end of the day, the trophies, they just become objects that collect dust. And if you did it on a record, say for example, you're the guys from Milli Vanilli, right? Mm-hmm. Remember that? And that's not the only time that's happened. So there's a lot of people who have awards and trophies for stuff they haven't really worked on. And to me, that's kind of like a participation trophy. I don't know when society started doing that, but I think it's been really bad for society to give out participation trophies. If Little Junior didn't win the game, then fuck it, you get a second place trophy, buddy. Sorry, you're gonna have to beep that, but you know what I mean.
100%. Last question, Dave. Holy Wars, The Punishment Due, 81 million views on YouTube. But I wanted to ask you, Thomas Jane, Dolph Lundgren, John Bernthal, Ray Stevenson, who do you like as the Punisher?
Oh, say the names again.
Yeah, you had Thomas Jane. He did the movie. Dolph Lundgren did a Punisher film back in the 80s. John Bernthal is the Punisher in a TV series. And then Ray Stevenson did that. It was more of a shoot-'em-up Punisher. It was a lot more violent, a lot bloodier. That's probably maybe 10 years back. I just wanted to know, video adaptations of the Punisher. Have you enjoyed any of those?
You know what? I am embarrassed to say I haven't seen any of them. I was such a huge Punisher fan too, and I think it was the first movie that came out that put me off of it.
Yeah, I think that's probably Dolph Lundgren, I think.
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure. I don't know anything else that he's done.
So the movie Behind the Mask about the final album and 40 years of Megadeth, after theaters, will that be available online or streaming for fans?
I hope so. I hope so. I think that it would be great to keep the fans plugged in, and for those that can't make it to the actual airing, that they can have a way to see it. It's not everybody's going to be able to go see this when it airs. For example, in Japan, that show's that airing is completely sold out. Now that means they've got to make arrangements to have a second airing there, and they were only having one airing in a lot of these places. But that's a great problem to have, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's the movie Behind the Mask about the 40-year history of the band, final album Megadeth out this week. Dave Mustaine from Megadeth. An honor to talk to you today. Thanks for chatting with me.
Thanks, Forrest. You got it, buddy. Thank you.